So I'm personally asking all players in Monday's national title game to join me in this boycott to demand that the NCAA will recognize players as paid employees and not student athletes.
Tell us a little about your character, Catherine, in the movie National Champions, and just give the audience an idea of who that individual is.
Catherine Poe is my character. She's a fixer. She has been hired by the NCAA and the cabal to bring tactical resolution to the immediate crisis that is LaMarcus James, played beautifully by Stephan James in the film. She's a go-getter. She's a tough cookie. She's ambitious and strong. She holds the thankless job of being the face of an organization. So she may appear as someone who is challenging, but the fact of the matter is that she's really just doing her job and doing it the best she knows how. And I would say that Catherine is a woman who herself was involved in sports in her own collegiate days. So she finds herself internally challenged. She's met with the challenge of having one foot in the lane of doing her job, and while also having another foot in the lane of understanding LaMarcus's mission.
This is a conversation that is relatively new to a lot of us, with name, image, and likeness being, this is kind of our first glance at that in real time. How much was that a challenge of really kind of crafting a narrative that was kind of evolving to some extent while you're in the process of creating it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation that's been going on for quite a while, within the sports world, and it's one that sparked numerous debate. And while we were making the film, I think we were really centered on the world of our story while we were telling it. It's been obviously interesting to watch this story play itself out in real time as well. But it's something that has been an long-going conversation for decades now, I think, at this point. And I hope that it's a conversation that now this film might open up and broaden to really come up with what is the ultimate place we can land at, a solution that can be found that benefits all parties.
What would something like this have meant to you when you were running track at Boston University, to have that opportunity to take advantage of your impact from a name, image, and likeness standpoint?
Right. I think that's a tough question because it's an entirely different age that we live in. I think the conversation is advancing the way that it is because we've seen so many different things change in the face of likeness and image. It's gone from not just, say the cover of a Wheaties box, which in the early days, to video games, to now even, there's so much that can be done just in the space and world of social media. So I think the conversation is even more important and even more relevant now as we've watched images be able to be created in so many different ways. I think it's a worthwhile conversation and necessary conversation to be had as we see athletes at the collegiate level potentially be able to have more opportunities made accessible to them in a variety of different ways because of general reach that exists. And I think a film like this lays out the case for everyone. National Champions really makes a strong argument, not just in terms of image and likeness, the conversation of health benefits, as it lays out every person's side of the issue, and the challenges and nuance that are involved.
And for you, on a professional, maybe personal level, this was a role that, just kind of listening to you describe it, it really once again shows just a woman of color in a position of power to some extent, really front and center. How important is it for you as you continue to kind of evolve in your career to have those opportunities and really take advantage of them when they present themselves?
I am really keyed in to excited by new stories that are missing, stories where I haven't either seen them before or I haven't seen them played by that person before, that are also well crafted, that are thrilling, that are challenging. And I was drawn to a Catherine Poe because I could feel that push-pull with that internal pull and struggle within her. And I hadn't seen her exist yet within the sports world. And the challenges that she faced internally, coupled with the space she had to hold in what is often looked at, thought of as a boys' club, those were things that were exciting to me. And that it wasn't just, here's this tough lady, and not that I think there's anything wrong with being a tough woman, by the way, but I do think but I think that it was exciting to watch the evolution of this character. I thought we were watching in National Champions. It would have been an easy film to make to oversimplify each of these characters and their struggles. And in the case of Catherine, we watched her on the surface present as this really tough, worldly, sophisticated woman who's sort of part of the system, only to watch her be unpacked and discover that she does have feelings. She comes from a very different world than what anybody assumes her to be from, and that we didn't really know her until she told us who she was, and that was thrilling. And I hope to do more projects like that.